Alright. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say, Kalim Yahweh, Shem Yahushai, Bashem HaKakwadash. The honors to the elders and apostles, agree millstone, to do rule and teach well. Honors to the brothers pushing the truth across the four corners with all sincerity. There's upon you checking out my new video, Lord, edifying, thoughtful lack. Just gonna go hop right into the video. Wasn't too far from home today. Currently in the Shabbat, so might as well, gotta get these videos out. So just want to get into the idea of adultery. Adultery, it's we're cheating like people in the world. Well, the world commonly says now. I guess what's like colloquially, I think that's the right word, is the new word for it. It's misunderstood. All right. Woman will throw this out if you say have another woman, and she'll say that you're cheating on her. All right, and that you're evil and blah blah blah. All right, these people, they have no understanding. Even men too. Even us in the world, we have no understanding of what adultery or cheating really means. All right, so let's just go into according to scriptures. And the man that committeth adultery, Leviticus 20:10, and the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he has committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Okay, so if a man sleeps with the wife of another man, right? So if a man takes the wife of another man, right? And what is marriage according to the Bible? It's not putting a ring on the finger, right? Let me see where that came from. I believe that came from like ancient Rome. We can actually go ahead and do some digging. Because in the ancient world, sex was sure these originates that come from would have been faster. The tradition of wearing rings on specific fingers date back to ancient Egypt, where it was adopted by the Greek and Romans. The customs of wearing a wedding ring on the left-hand ring finger, custom Roman belief in vena amoris, Latin for bane of love, which they believe directed that finger directly to the heart. Alright, so yeah, it comes from Rome. But in our culture, right, when I say our, of Israelite culture, that's who we are, us so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are Israelites according to the scriptures, not blacks, not Native Americans or Hispanics. Of course, all the seed line of your fathers, like I spoke about earlier today, that's not a part of our culture. Back then, sex was marriage, right? When you read about Isaac took Rebecca and made her his wife, the act of sexual intercourse is what consummates the marriage. You're betrothed, but you're not fully married until you have the act of intercourse and they laid the blanket under the woman. And when the man went in onto the woman's blood would get upon the blanket, and then that would be the token of her virginity. Alright, so that all goes into our traditions and customs, right? Very well organized, right? All well ordered, right? Of course, our laws, statutes, and commandments come directly from, the Heavenly Father, man. Right? It's all according to His ways, man. That we do. All right. Of course, now in these days we can't do that. You're not gonna get yourself no virgin, and you're not gonna, probably not gonna be able to get yourself multiple women if they know about each other. But so the man that commits adultery with another man's wife, and he that commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, adultery and adultery shall be put to death. Right. So that goes both ways. If a woman is married to a man and she goes sleep with another man, she's gonna get put to death. If a man sleeps with a woman that belongs to the man, he's gonna get put to death. They're both gonna get put to death, regardless. Right? And the man that left his father's life had to cover his father's nakedness, both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood should be upon them. Now, notice that says another man's wife. What happens if that other woman has no husband, right? Has no man. Is it still going off? Is he gonna get put to death? No, of course not. So just looked up here. Actually, you go back to his writing ring finger. This is just more proof that America follows the ways of ancient Rome, right? It's ancient Rome and Greece all over again, and they do this stuff with the ring finger. But we can go back in here. I just looked up figures in the Bible who had many wives. You get the overview. Several biblical figures had multiple wives, which was a common cultural practice in the ancient Near East. The most prominent examples include King Solomon, the most famous, credited with 700 wives, 300 concubines. He didn't go off by having all those wives. He went off in following their ways, right? Following the ways of his concubines and going to all types of heathen nonsense. Listen to the woman. All right. King David had at least 8 wives. Jacob had 4 wives, right? That's a big example right there. Abraham had 3 wives. Sarah, Hagar, Keturah, Rehoboam, king of Judah, had 18 wives, which in his days came about to split with Jeroboam. Yeah, the northern southern kingdom, which northern southern kingdom, right? Tabernacle David coming back together within the bonds of this truth. All right. Now we're one again, but of course in the kingdom everything will be completed, right? Our people will be in the right mind again. But within the bounds of this truth, which the kingdom starts with it being within us, right? You got another kingdom brother standing side by side with other kingdom brothers, right? But in the world, maybe when you're growing up, that maybe wasn't the case, maybe no other kingdom. Well, you see it in the world, the jealousy, this beef. Personally, I didn't deal with that, growing up. Judah didn't really fuck with me like that. Like, I was kind of nerdy or whatever. Like, I was into like Dragon Ball Z and all that shit. So I really hung out with a lot of, Northern Kingdom Jake. Like, they became my friends. So hung out with a lot of, Puerto Ricans, a lot of Issacharites. You know what I mean? And I was hanging with them. But yeah, man. Us as a nation, we flock to each other. So yeah, Abijah, another king Judah, had 14 wives. So on Bible.org, they clear summaries. So yeah. So as you can see, it's A-OK. And you got this website here, which you don't have to get into. Bible.org, biblical polygamous. And see here, he had many wives. That's what Lamech, Cain's great-great-grandson. Esau had 3 wives, which he's not an Israelite. He's an Edomite. Even though we share a father in Isaac, we split into 2 different nations, and that chosen seed line went to Israel. Because you read about that, Second Ezra, 3rd chapter. Esau was put by. But yeah, that's pretty much the point. You really don't have to get any more deep into this, man. A man can have multiple wives. A man can have multiple concubines. There's no limit on the number. I saw some Instagram post. I'm not gonna look for it because I feel like whoever that woman was, her saying wasn't even worth digging up the Instagram post and putting it on the screen, because it was just so silly, it just seemed so arbitrary, so just silly. Yeah, silly statement. She said a man can have a wife, a side piece, and then something else. I think he said, and a sneaky link, I think. So you can have those 3, but anything else that is cheating. And I'm like, you don't know what are you talking about, man? This is what are you talking about? None of that is cheating. There's no limit. There's no arbitrary number of women that a man can have. But once he gets past 999, he's going off. He's gonna get put. No, man, no. The true definition of adultery, once again, is if a man sleeps with a woman that is already dealing with another man or having sex with another man. If a man deals with a woman who's having sex with another man, it's going off. If a woman is having sex with a man and steps out on her husband to go sleep, mess with another man, she's going off. Of course, in this side, we cannot put evil away from among us. So, I mean, if a woman do that to you, man, you know, you just gotta pray, man, Lord willing, for prosperity to stay calm, and that you don't fucking, put this chick out, all right? Because when I say put this chick out, you know what I mean, right? But we don't advocate violence, right? But you gotta just tell her to kick fucking rocks, man. Because in this society, you put evil out from among you, and you're gonna go to jail. You know. But yeah, I'm gonna let that be that. See if we can